Hey, welcome back into Eye on Agriculture. I'm Brittany Rucker. Women play a vital role in agriculture, from managing finances to handling the day-to-day operations on the farm. Today we're talking about the Women Managing the Farm Conference. Joining us now, Lavell Windsor here to share about this conference and how it's making a difference. Lavell, what is the Women Managing the Farm Conference and how does it help women in agriculture?
Yes, so this is our 21st year for the Women Managing the Farm Conference. It has been in Kansas for all of those years. Women that are involved day-to-day on the farm, or maybe they work primarily on the books, they maybe have a job off-farm, or maybe they own land in Kansas, all come together in Manhattan to go to the Women Managing the Farm, which is a two-day conference in Manhattan.
What are some of the biggest challenges women face on the farm today?
You know, so there's always challenges in farming and agriculture. A lot of the things that right now are top of mind is commodity prices have been quite volatile. Interest rates are really high. Totally different environment than we've seen. The things that specifically women face is a lot of times women are the ones that are kind of picking up the pieces and keeping everything together. And so the great thing about this conference is it is geared specifically towards women. Women come together. They can talk about those unique challenges. We have speakers that come in and help address some of those things. And the best thing about this conference is there are so many women that go away with great bonds, new friends. They come back time and time again because they just really enjoy it. It's almost like a second family to them.
Yeah, absolutely. Building some community here. Lavell, what tools or training does the conference offer to help women manage their farms?
Yeah, so we have 4 keynote speakers that everybody gets to go and see, and then we have several breakout sessions, and those are some different tracks. People don't have to sign up for a specific track. They can go to whatever breakouts they want to, but some are geared specifically towards production, maybe some towards bookkeeping specifically, some towards like farm to table type things, some to risk management. People can just mix and match whatever presentations they want to go to for the breakout sessions. We also intentionally set up a networking session that women that are in kind of the same place within their farm or within their life, they can get together and have a networking session together. And it's amazing some of the problems or the tools that the women will share with one another that are just very, very helpful.
Lavell, you mentioned it's in Manhattan, but give us the dates and how people can get involved with the conference.
Yes, so to register, you can go to www.womenmanagingthefarm.com, and there's a registration link. The conference is Thursday and Friday, February 13th and 14th. There is an optional pre-conference for people who want to come in on Wednesday afternoon. They can either come to the conference center, and that is going to be focused on those middle years, people about my age who are taking care of older parents but also have their own kids at home still. Or there's some tours, some farm tours, one that's going to meet up in Hayes and travel together and see some neat sites. Other folks that want to come into Manhattan, they're going to see some sites around Manhattan as well. So lots of fun stuff.
Well, Lavell, thanks so much for coming on the program and chatting with me. Everyone stick around. Eye on Ag. We'll be back after the break.